My name is Barb Beyerback. I'm a professor in curriculum and instruction here at SUNY Oswego. The philosophy of professional development school partnerships are that we come together as a learning community with the central focus is the K-12 student learner. So all of us are committed to supporting the learning needs of the diverse students in the particular PDS site. And we all bring our unique lens to that as a college faculty or as a teacher, an administrator, parent rep, whoever's involved with the PDS work. In addition to focusing on K-12 learners, there's a committed focus to being a community where everybody's giving and taking in terms of knowledge sharing. It's considered a third space, and so it's not the institution of the university, it's not the institution of K-12, but it's something magic that kind of happens in this space where boundaries are blurred and where deep learning happens. There's a focus on supporting pre-service teacher needs, and in the mature PDSs, we have our candidates learning side by side with experienced mentor teachers there, faculty working in the building with them. There's a focus on the teacher's professional development, serving the needs of the district. So we look at data with our colleagues in the school. We see where we want to strengthen the practice in the school to serve the kids, and then we draw on the resources from the college to support that. We also focus on higher ed learning, and in my culturally relevant teaching courses and supervision of student teachers, we dive in, we experiment, we try out different strategies. Everybody's bringing their own expertise to the table. We reflect, we step back, we look, we modify, we move forward. So it's an ongoing recursive process that starts with the teacher's question about what they're needing. I have been involved with the professional development schools since the beginning in the late 80s. The superintendents and our administration who worked together on Team Sheldon became very excited about this model of professional development called PDS, Professional Development Schools. And we launched the first couple of professional development schools, one in Parrish Elementary in the Altmar Parish Williamstown district, and the other in Lanigan Elementary in the Fulton district. The partnerships expanded, thrived, and we're still going strong today.
My name is Dr. Mathis Kelvin, and I am the superintendent of Oswego City School District. Since my arrival at the school, our in-service and pre-service teachers are involved in ongoing professional development, which often leads to some really fantastic dialogue around teaching and learning. And also, aside from that, our staff, through a really, I call it an inquiry-based process, they have an opportunity to really learn quite a bit from the college and to have some really good dialogue around the diverse needs of our students and how we might best meet those needs of our learning community. And I think really the other really great thing through the PDS that is offered is that it provides an opportunity for our staff to be engaged in ongoing dialogue and professional development that's really focused on social justice for P through 12 schools. And it really has made a very positive impact on our entire learning community. Our district is currently involved in a multi-year strategic plan. And as a part of that plan, social justice is basically weaved throughout the entire plan. And so because of the partnership, the professional development that's offered really provides an opportunity for staff to have quite a bit of conversation around social justice issues or concerns, and really to think through how we react, how we respond to matters that come up that involve students and that involve social justice. I think the partnership has really been that spark to really help us to be reflective of our practice, to engage in reflective thought and dialogue, and to really change our practice wherever we need to as a district to better meet the needs of our entire learning community. Our practice has been truly informed because of the PDS partnership. So I think we've also been able to strengthen those who are coming into the field at the same time. And we've learned now how to really provide education regardless of the environment that we're in now because of our collaborative work together and really just moving together as a team. One of the things I think that we have learned is that we can do things that we didn't think that we can do. Because we were engaged in this partnership with students who have the latest in terms of greatest pedagogy, instruction that they're receiving every day, it's really helped our practice, right?
My name is Roseanne Bain. I am the assistant superintendent at City BOCES in Oswego County. Teachers who are in positions often feel like, oh no, here comes one more thing I have to do. So anything that you could do that alleviates some of that pressure by bringing professional development into them, to bring strategies into them, to bring coaching and or the opportunity to coach others. Between PDS schools and teacher immersion programs, the majority of candidates are being hired by the school districts in which they are participating. So they don't even need to put themselves into the job market, because the amount of exposure and collaboration that they've had with our districts lends itself to them often having job offers before they complete their educational journey at SUNY Oswego. We have found that having the collaboration and the relationship with the college has almost increased the validity of having a career at BOCES that sometimes students had not even thought of as a career option. And in these times of school employee shortages across the board, it's especially important that students know all the options that exist. And I think personally for us at BOCES, our relationships with the PDS school have helped us with those connections to BOCES being a school, being a place of lifelong learning. And that's the connection that's so important to us.
I'm Tamara Lipke, and I serve as an associate professor in the Educational Leadership Department in the School of Ed here at SUNY Oswego. I see awareness of partnerships as well as participating in those partnerships as being crucial to leadership development. I think there are several things that are important for our future around PDS. One of them being the focus and the move to establish teacher residency programs where we can professionalize and give teachers even richer and deeper experiences over a longer period of time as they hone their practice and learn both the art and the science of teaching. So I see that as one arm of it. I also see that given the challenges and the opportunities coming from the pandemic, that we have a wider array of ways in which we could support districts in terms of their professional development focus and building teacher capacity. In fact, building all staff capacity around social justice, around equity and inclusion issues, as well as teacher and leader practice.
I'm Dr. Laura Spenceley. I'm the Dean of the School of Education here at SUNY Oswego. I see it as critically important that we are helping strengthen pathways to the professions of teaching, school leadership, and helping professions. And I think when we're able to tell these stories of creativity, of innovation, of inclusive learning communities, that goes a long way in helping people understand what possibilities exist for the future, not just in K through 12, but here in our university space.
I'm very hopeful because I think that districts are exploring how can we do things differently, because quite honestly, school wasn't meeting a lot of children's needs before the pandemic, and I think the pandemic shed a more powerful spotlight on that. And so now coming off of that and addressing the needs that we have, as well as what wasn't working before, we have some amazing opportunities to support each other innovating. And I think that that innovation will drive changes in our public school K-12 spaces, as well as here at the university as we prepare aspiring teachers and leaders to go out into that field and make a difference for children.
We talk a lot about the silos of our practices, both within our professional communities and across our professional communities. And I think the beauty of PDS is it quite literally forces us to move out of those silos and build a more inclusive space for curiosity, for growth, for vulnerability, but also for really innovative practices. The reality is that the work of professional development schools could not be more aligned with the conceptual framework of the School of Education, which has been anchored in social justice, authentic learning, reflection, knowledge, among others. And when I think of the work of our PDS partnerships that include a faculty member, school district leaders, in-service teachers, and also pre-service teachers, what we really see happen is we're setting up structures that allow us to have those reflective conversations, that give us the time and the space to build a data-informed approach to meeting the needs of our K through 12 students more effectively, or even the spaces to say, I'm not sure if this will work, but I have an idea and I've seen a pilot in another space, and building that capacity for change. I think it forces us into these innovative spaces. In my conversations with school leaders and our partner districts over the last year. And one of those priorities is supporting the socio-emotional needs of our students across ages, across ability levels, across backgrounds. And there was a real crisis in access to preventive and diagnostic mental and behavioral health care prior to the pandemic, and we've really seen those needs exacerbated over the last 2 years as students have been isolated. We are seeing those challenges emerge in classrooms in different ways than we have before. And so helping empower teachers, school leaders, and our helping professionals meet the needs of our children in schools, but also increase their capacity for wellness and self-care. Being able to manage the various and often very stressful challenges day to day of working with students who have high needs can be really difficult. And so helping build capacity, not just to deliver care, but make sure that we're caring for ourselves so that we can continue to do that work.
I'll just say, from the administrators I talk to and the teachers I talk to, they say that their experiences working with the PDS is the most powerful form of professional development that they have engaged in over their academic career. So being treated as an equal, going to conferences together, co-presenting, those are things that they're initially fearful of, and then they realize they can do it, and they realize they have something to say, and they realize they have colleagues in the space and they're part of a national dialogue. It just creates this larger learning community for them that's very, very powerful form of PD.